to WRPB and WRPB Studios. So, in 32 years, I've interviewed so many people and learned so many things. And it's rare that I bring on somebody that I haven't interviewed that subject. Well, today I have Lorianne Archer.
Hello there.
Hey, and it's iBrainTrain.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so my first question is, what the heck is iBrainTrain?
Well, I'm glad that you asked me
We
that
only
question
have
today.
we only have like
training.
14 minutes.
Okay, well, brain training is a procedure that trains cognition. So if you have a brain, or anyone you know has a brain,
Let's talk most of the people I know.
I can take you to your peak performance. How I
Okay.
do that is I use a couple of different programs to train auditory and visual processing, memory, speed, focus and concentration, logic and reasoning, and I even train word attack and spelling, which is not cognition, but if we need to do some reading, I can intervene there.
Well, you already have the credibility of being an educator.
Yes, I do.
So you've been an educator for years.
Since 1989.
When you started when you were 2.
Exactly.
Okay.
I like to think that too.
Before we got on, we were just talking about getting older and how that affects us. And I guess it's you have the ability, the training ability, to kind of offset some of the issues that we go through as we get older.
I do.
Okay.
That is not primarily the audience that I service. However, there is an entire market out there for it. But I am a small business, and because of my background, it seems that I've helped those from the age of 3 all the way through adults for academic purposes, to get to their peak performance, to function on a daily basis. Could I work with TBI strokes, which I have? Memory care? Absolutely. But because of just my little niche, that it just happened to come my way and my
Right.
background, that's where I market, but does not mean I cannot work with someone who is dealing with memory loss, cognitive impairments, TBIs, strokes, and which I have.
So, and you've been around this industry for 15 years approximately?
Yes.
Okay, why'd you get into this?
How many minutes do we have?
Enough for you to go until I cut you off.
No, well, in a nutshell,
Right.
because of my background, this is what I tell everyone I meet. I've always thought about how could we get to the root of whatever the problem is. And particularly in the classroom, I would tell parents of my students, I could sustain your child, but what do you do to fix the underlying issue? And one day I stumbled across an article, and all it said was, get to the root of the problem, and it was pulling off that Band-Aid. So ever since then, which is about 14 years ago, I investigated, I looked to see what it was all about, and I became a provider of PACE, Processing and Cognitive Enhancement, integrated listening system, and with my background in education, it's a win-win for everyone. I can change lives. I watch families cry and sit in front of me. I've watched as a teacher and felt helpless. What else can I do aside from tutoring? Tutoring is great, but it does not remedy. And at the right time, it does its job. But how do we fix the issues long term? This is a lifelong gift that you would be giving someone to reach their peak. It can change IQ. It can raise IQ.
So, for me, I've been interviewing forever. 32 years I've been doing this. And it's interesting because some people come on with names that are brutally hard to remember and pronounce. And yes, I have a cheat. My cheat is, hey, I have the most amazing guests. I have to let them introduce themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? But even like yours, Lorianne Archer, it's pretty simple. But if I don't get it out in the beginning of my thing, I will forget it. Which is a memory issue.
Sure.
Can that be, I don't want to say fixed or corrected, but can that be like kind of turned back? Straighten it. But can we basically turn back the hands of time a bit on that to when I was able to remember?
We can definitely get you to a higher level of functioning and sustain you where you're at so you don't lose any more and raise the bar for yourself. Yes.
Okay. Now, because I'm older than dirt, there's a million things. There's not enough time for you to explain them all. let's go over some of the other things that you work on. And I guess the hub of your audience or the people you work with are what ages?
Anywhere from the age of 3 to adults.
Okay.
It's a wide range.
But I mean, is there like a hub of like mostly I deal with 14-year-olds or 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds?
School age at this particular time. Yes, that's the bulk of my clientele.
Okay, so you've been doing this for some time,
Yes,
and you've been an educator, and you've worked in schools.
yes.
Are you finding when people coming to you that age, 13, 8, 12, 4, different from when you used to teach in school?
Um, the one thing that I see that is very different, and I believe causing a lot of the issues that we're seeing, is the lack of freedom to go out, play, and create, and use their minds.
Because
The
everybody's
limitations.
here like this.
I'm not blaming technology, but that's definitely a variable in it. Parenting is different today, lifestyle is different today, and all of it contributes to that. Diet contributes to that, lack of exercise, and the cognition that one needs from birth through the age of 5 is natural development. But then after that, depending on the lifestyle that wasn't chosen by a student per se,
Right.
there are other things that are necessary to develop that. And if it's not, or if it's stunted, or if there is a physical or genetic impediment on that, that's where we start seeing red flags pop up. And the question is, well, what's going on? And only until then do we say what's going on. So to directly answer your question, the differences that I'm seeing is a lot of what I'm remedying are things that you and I grew up on doing naturally. Not that it would be a 100% fix,
Right.
but it would certainly alleviate fine and gross motor skill issues, left and right brain coordination, just thinking out of the box, things that become with itness is underdeveloped. And I can't give you one example of why, but it's definitely has changed from when you and I were younger.
Well, on top of that, we had better music. But it's a whole other story.
Yes.
All right, so, like, for me, I see the kids today, and they're lacking, I hate to use the word intelligence, but they're lacking being well-rounded, okay? They're lacking skills that we had. You know, people joke, the kids today can't write cursive, can't drive a stick shift. Are those things that are happening over time? And do they need to be fixed? Can they be fixed? Can you get, because you're talking about motor skills and coordination and that stuff, can they be fixed on someone who's, 15, 16, 17 years old? Or is that stuff what they're already doing embedded in their mind?
No, there's a couple of different things that I'm hearing you ask. As far as what we value and what we've learned to take responsibility for, and there's another thing, what we are built intellectually within our brains, how to build that cognitive so we are able to think out of the box at higher levels of reasoning and with itness. Some of that, as far as learning how to change a tire or learning how to tie down a mattress or learning how to just take care of daily life functions, that's a different skill. Can it be learned? Yes, anything can be learned. Cognition can be changed to make you a better learner. What are you being exposed to is a different kind of a variable that impedes on what you can and cannot do.
Okay, so how much does past trauma affect someone's ability to do something?
Do something
In learning or,
absolutely.
okay, I mean, everybody, I've been doing this a long time, everybody knows I'm a survivor of sexual abuse as a kid,
Yes.
and I'm one of the few guys that talk about it, and I'm blessed to be able to talk about it. But if I look back at this stage, I think of the path that I took, and I was blessed to kind of survive it. But there were things that I did that maybe I shouldn't have done, or do you deal with a lot of what you deal with? Does it go back to kids' traumas or people's traumas?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, one of the programs I use works our dysregulated systems. And who doesn't have a dysregulated system to some degree? It works our autonomic nervous system. It can help quell anxiety. It helps to keep us at a more homeostasis level through I won't get into all the intricacies, but one of the programs that I use, it activates our vagus nerve. It does cross the midline, and we work our left and right hemispheres. So when we can get to a better place of and not be in fight or flight, and through this program, I do that, it helps to calm the natural state of our bodies, letting us think more clearly. And then if we raise cognition, because usually not trauma won't cause lower cognition, but it's usually tied together for one reason or the other. So it goes hands in hand. So if I can help regulate an imbalanced system and raise cognition, changes mindset. Your mind, the first thing that changes is your self-esteem and confidence, regardless of trauma in your life. And then you'll start producing and living the way that you desire at a higher level, more positively.
I think today, in today's day and age, whether it be an adult or child, I think we're all living with anxiety. And let's just say, at a scale of 1 to 10, we're all living with anxiety at a 7 or an 8. It's really pretty tough. The world is going crazy, pretty tough. Do you train, whether it be adults or children, to learn how to calm that anxiety down?
I'm not a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an OT, a speech pathologist, but this is what I've been told. I didn't realize you do all of that. As a teacher, as a mom, as a brain trainer, I pull out all the stops. And I won't ever claim to be something I'm not, but I will help develop stronger mindsets, give tools to help oneself get through some of that anxiety. And when it's beyond me, I absolutely refer to the best and recommend if it's something that I cannot change. But all in all, yes, I can definitely help that.
You don't have to answer this one. How old are
Okay.
your children?
I don't have to answer. I don't mind answering.
Okay.
I love my 3 sons.
Okay.
I have a son, Grant, who is 29.
Okay.
My son, Connor, is 28.
Oh my God.
And my son, Troy, is 21.
Okay. So, when you started in this 15 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
they were 10, 11, 12.
Yes.
Did you have support from them? Did they kind of say, Mom, you got this?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, it doesn't happen all the time, obviously. What I got when I started this industry was, don't be stupid, get a real job, it's a pipe dream, okay? But I didn't have the support, and I'm blessed that I got as far as I did, because I think family support is super important, you know, and I think family support in any amount helps you get to where you want to go. You know, again, they know me. They know I sold my car and was riding on an electric skateboard scooter in my 30s.
Right.
Now, most people would not do that. I was a little bit crazy, but I knew that this was going to be an industry that was going to come about. What other things, because like you gave me a sheet of paper and there's a bunch of things that you work on for people. What's the thing that comes up the most in what you do?
People come to me when pretty much they've reached a brick wall and they don't know what else to do. And they have tried all remedies that are known that are pretty traditional. And then when they start looking outside the box, and people are educating themselves today and looking for a more natural way to help themselves, they will find me. And it's generally when nothing else is working. And they dig and they dig and they look, they find me, and then it's like they can breathe. And that's the gift I give.
Okay, so who comes to you? Do the parents come to you?
Yes. The parents come to me, the grandparents come to me. Can you speak to me? I'm going to tell my daughter, my daughter-in-law, my son. I'll bring my granddaughter in. The whole family's involved once you meet me, because it takes a team effort, as you just said, to your point. It takes a village. So with what I do, it's not for the faint of heart. It's for those that want to truly make a difference in one's lives, and to change a habit. We'll use the stereotype. It takes 28 days, 1 month to change a habit. And as an adult, it can be tough. So imagine a youngster who doesn't know what we know, and a parent. I myself was a parent and didn't know at times
Still a
what to
parent.
do.
I had to say it.
Well, for the
You're still
young
a
ones,
parent.
trying to guide them.
Right.
Yes, I'll always be a mom.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I see commonly is a need, is a heart, and desperation. What do? I can change schools. I saw this doctor. Here I am. I'm not a miracle, but that's why I love what I do. And that is precise. That's why. That's it. I can be the lifeline. I am the life preserver. And that truly makes me want to cry because I know as a mom how that feels.
You know, it's. I'm a parent. I have a daughter, a little older than your kids, and I saw her grow up. And for me, I was separated from my wife at that when my daughter was probably 3 or 4, and I was a good dad. But for me, I don't think I was a good enough dad. And I'm super close with my daughter, and her mom has passed away. And it's interesting how she went from being this materialistic, spoiled little kid to being who she is today. But when, let's just say I had a 15-year-old child, and I call you, what's the process? So I call you. What happens next after I call you?
Well, I will do a thorough questioning consultation. And the first step is to do a cognitive assessment so that we can have, that's the only data that I can give you, what levels are your loved one functioning at in the areas discussed earlier. And then we can take it from there. I will lay out a plan of action for you. I will be an advocate for you at the schools. I get involved in everything, pediatricians, eye doctors, therapists, wherever it's needed, I will consult, talk to you, guide you, and be there right on your side to help you navigate the unknown.
You almost become part of their family.
Yes. And my friends, they become my friends.
Right,
Yes.
and I get that because people who come through here become our friends. The people who work here are like family to us.
Yes.
I think I'm blessed to be successful, to be in business 32 years. Now everybody with cell phones, a videographer, a photographer, a talk show host, and I still deal with it. It's okay. There's enough for everybody. But it's important, I think. Connection is super, super important.
Mm-hmm.
And more so in your industry. Because without that connection, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't get the trust that you would need to work with people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're getting to the top of our time. How do people find you? You have a website?
I have a website. It's iBrainTrain.com. You can reach me at 954-9598-3435.
Okay. Is there any, like in this industry, your industry, is there any, like, urgency with people? Like, if their kids are out of control or their kid, like, hey, I'm having this kind of problem with my child. I heard about you. I know that you can handle this. When can I see you?
The urgency goes for each family. It's different. They'll know when it's urgent. I can't just come into someone's life, but I can educate people. I'll spend time with people, but the urgency is within. So when they reach their limit and have exhausted what they feel are all possibilities,
Right.
and they don't know what else to do, they will look for me.
Okay, real quick, website again?
iBrainTrain.com.
Phone number?
954-598-3435.
Everybody, I've said this a million times. I guess you can hear it on every show, so if you don't remember it now, go watch another show of ours. Always, always, always use a professional. If you don't, it's going to cost you 5 times more in finance and 10 times more in frustration, especially in the industry that you're in. That frustration level, if you don't use a professional, is going to go through the roof. It's very, very difficult. Not just mainly a lot in today's day and age, but just to get everything on the right path and going on the right track is difficult, and sometimes we all need a little help. Lori, Ann, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody,
Have a great
use a
day.
professional. We'll be right back.